Want to win your fantasy football league? Well, then you're going to need Roto Experts in our roster of 52 fantasy professionals. Our premium package is the industry's best. We offer rankings, cheat sheets, sleepers, breakouts, and busts. You can wallow in fantasy mediocrity by going at it alone or taste victory with our help for just pennies a day. Go to rotoexperts.com now, enter the code WORK for a special discount, and begin your journey to fantasy success.
Mike Cardano with Roto Experts and the Fantasy Sports Network, here with you to provide our market share report. And we'll be doing these segments every week during the NFL season. And if you find yourself begging for more of me after you watch this, well, you're in luck, because you can hop on over to rotoexperts.com and you'll catch my work there. You'll find me on sportsgrid.com, SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, and of course, you'll catch me 8 days a week on the Fantasy Sports Network. Now, for those of you who are new to this feature, this is where we review the previous week's on-field action, highlighting wide receivers who earned the most targets, running backs who got the most carries, and which players saw the most chances to score inside the red zone. Now, be sure to pay extra attention when you hear the term market share in the segment. That metric is used to identify which players are getting the highest percentage of their team's play calling. And as we know, opportunity breeds success. Let's first take a look at our target leaderboard. Now remember, a target is simply a pass thrown in the direction of a receiver, and since receivers are dependent on their quarterbacks to score points, well, targets are essential to fantasy success. Now in last week's leaderboard, you can see that many of the top performers at the wide receiver position are featured, but you'll also notice a few duds. Antonio Brown, Steve Smith, and Jordy Nelson were the leading scorers at the wide receiver position in Week 4, as they each scored just under 36 DraftKings points. Jeremy Maclin, on the other hand, well, he led all wide receivers in targets, but converted 16 targets into just 9.7 points. Now, Maclin and Robert Woods, who received 12 targets, were the two least efficient receivers this past week. In total, 22 players saw at least 10 targets in Week 4 with an average of 20.54 DraftKings points. The point of this analysis, of course, is to show that if you were able to correctly identify players receiving double-digit targets, well, you had a great chance at recouping value on their price tag. Taking a look at carries from the running backs, Frank Gore and DeMarco Murray topped the Week 4 leaderboard with 24 carries each. Now, after watching 5 players have at least 24 carries in Week 3, we saw just 5 running backs cross the 20 carry threshold in Week 4. Those 5 backs, well, they averaged just under 27 DraftKings points. Jamaal Charles was the one back outside the top 5 in carries to surge towards the top of the running back scoring. He tallied 31.8 DraftKings points thanks to 3 touchdowns, 2 of which came as a receiver. Daily fantasy gamers may have had some concerns about Charles' health leading into a Monday night game, but he rewarded those who had faith with a flashback to his incredible 2013 season. In Week 3, we saw some inconsistency in the production of running backs on the leaderboard, but in Week 4, everything was fairly consistent. Every running back that received at least 15 carries broke into double-digit points, and half of them scored at least 19 DraftKings points. Now, the biggest disappointment at the position was Donald Brown, who recorded just 10 carries after finishing Week 3 with 31. In a favorable matchup against Jacksonville, Brown failed to deliver double-digit points and was one of the highest-owned players. The final leaderboard we're going to show you this week is one that we use to evaluate which players are seeing the most opportunities in the red zone. Now, a red zone opportunity, of course, is simply defined as a carry or a target on a play that starts inside the opponent's 20-yard line. Historically, these opportunities are more valuable the closer you get to the goal line, as the touchdown rates increase with each yard closer to pay dirt. Matt Asiata led the way in Week 4 with 9 red zone opportunities, 3 of which converted into end zone dances. Asiata was third to Jamaal Charles and DeMarco Murray in overall scoring at the running back position, but came at a much cheaper cost. Matt Forte was the most disappointing performer on the red zone opportunities leaderboard in Week 4, recording 7 opportunities, but failing to punch one in. Forte racked up yards and receptions to tally 25.1 DraftKings points, but a touchdown would have put him among the top overall performers on the day. Forte and Rashad Jennings were the only two players on the Red Zone Opportunities leaderboard not to score in Week 4. Teddy Bridgewater is the rare quarterback to show up on the leaderboard. While Bridgewater is currently dealing with an ankle injury because of his play last week, his willingness to use his legs in the red zone not only resulted in his first professional rushing touchdown, it made him one of the best values at the quarterback position in Week 4. On the weeks where the Vikings have favorable matchups for red zone opportunities, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be a very valuable quarterback option this season. For more in-depth analysis on market share leaders throughout the season, head on over to rotoexperts.com and sign up for the Daily Fantasy Football Package. Our experts, Drew Dinkmeyer and Mike Leone, get you ready each week with strategy articles, site-specific cheat sheets, and recommendations that highlight the top value plays each week, and they send you updated injury information right to your inbox with our lineup alerts feature. Become a member of the Daily Fantasy Rundown team at rotoexperts.com by signing up for the Daily Fantasy Football Package. For Roto Experts and the Fantasy Sports Network, I'm Mike Cardano.